feels like I've been out of it for a long time. Almost as if a month and a half went by of content in a blink of an eye and I had no idea. Huh. Well, we can't worry about that right now. Welcome to AniTube Digest, the show where I, Misfit Paradox Waferton, bring you the most AniTube of AniTube known to man, according to me. This time, we will be tackling content from October 13th to October 19th, 2024. And we are in the heaps of spooky month. Ooh! And I have some fall stuff that needs to be doing while I go do stuff. So while I go frolic out in the wild, I want you guys to enjoy the offerings of any manga nonsense. Yeah, nailed it. Let's start the digest off with a real gut-wrencher as, oh, I'm sorry, I'm gonna mess up your name. Mxtteo, A Chance to Redo Your Life, got me right in my content creation feels. Originally, I looked into this video because the anime being talked about, Remake Our Life, was similar in premise to another anime I watched not that long ago, called Re-Life. And while Remake actually sends the protagonist literally back in time, instead of simply de-aging the characters to re-experience high school like in real life, I thought this video was going to be a simple video reviewing the show. Instead, I got a soft call-out post to me. What I'm saying is that I relate to the feelings conveyed in Mxtteo's video, as I have also gone back and forth with my motivation and burnout. Watching anime takes a longer time for me because of the choices and insecurities I've had on my own work as an AniTuber, and I think a lot on whether or not I'm taking the right path in life. The personal touch given here is very genuine and easy to tell. I like when the anime is used as a roadmap to tell the creator's journey. Pinning down what themes the anime is trying to showcase makes it feel all the more natural. I mean, when we think about going back in time to change our choices, a butterfly effect could always happen. Unless you live under a rock your whole life, one would have had to interact with other people. Therefore, other people would also be affected by this effect. Personally, when it comes to the question of whether I would go back and change my life, my answer would always be the same. No, I am currently enjoying my life right now, and I come to terms with the current outcome I have made myself. Getting too hung up on traumas and mistakes of the past wouldn't be worth risking my life being altered for, even if it could have more positive outcomes here and there. And could is the big word here. But back to the main topic. I just appreciate the creator's way of selling me on this series through the lessons they've learned from it. It piques my interest to come to my own conclusions about the show, or at least reflect on how I want to get out of this mindset of comparing myself to others. To which would still be a battle from time to time, but that's just life, man. But it's nice to have a reminder that one's life shouldn't be self-reflected on too harshly. Other than that, this was a very thought-provoking video. Though I'm sorry I keep messing up the name, I just really don't know how to say it with the X in the middle like that. On the bright side, the X makes you look very distinguished, almost like a character from Kingdom Hearts 2. Though please don't be like a certain evil mastermind who copied himself 12 times. We don't want another complicated story plotline on our bits. Sometimeseli, when incel romance is done well, caught my eye for its really striking thumbnail. I couldn't tell if it was because of the color scheme or the composition of the text, but it indeed got my attention. As for the video itself, I feel perplexed overall. On one hand, I understand that the only came out recently, so there's only so much you can go off of for anime onlys. On the other hand, I can't deny that the topic of the video was mostly carried on by ReZero, from which, mind you, isn't entirely a bad thing. The great YouTube algorithm is king, and one must follow its whims. Plus, ReZero as an anime has become a bit of a case study in my eyes on how the community views itself. I just wanted to point out the lopsidedness I felt when watching this video. Though I think the is a great endpoint to bring the entire conversation together about the role shonen females play in anime. But I'm going to focus on the ReZero part for a moment because I think Sometimeseli makes the best points when conveying this part. I think another reason why ReZero Subaru has become such a lightning rod of introspective conversation among the fandom is because of how raw his portrayal was, especially when he interacts with his female counterparts. I liked how Selly articulated the point about Rem's patience with Subaru, and how just because she strives to look past his flaws and help him be a better person, doesn't mean that she's any less of a person herself. The anime makes efforts to show how she chooses to make these decisions, which don't necessarily mean Rem is tied to Subaru to the hip, but rather it's a consequence of the story's natural progression of these characters. What I think Selly is trying to tell with these examples is how ReZero portrays these female dynamics as more modern and independent of their circumstances than, say, the underutilized, unmotivated, and downright clunky female dynamics among the big three, per se. Which can make sense for the most part. Naruto and Bleach, I agree, have their faults when it comes to their portrayals of females in their shows. But I'm interested to know why One Piece was omitted from this section of the video. Was it because it's not like the other big three in their opinion? Or any other reason? Personally, I don't think the women of One Piece fall into this trapping because of how multifaceted they are. But I'm curious to know Selly's thoughts nonetheless. But anyway, I'm seeing a lot of people praise Dandadan for its romantic progression of its leads, and I hope more shonen and seinen titles continue that trend. For now, this video about romances being done well was very well put together. Side note, I think Selly's background art was really cute. The moon had this stylized craters to it, and Selly's avatar had these even cuter freckles. I just couldn't resist pointing that out, I'm sorry. Hey, it's a Peytalksanime video. A Peytalksanime video that wasn't about Frieren, and the subject matter goes into detail about the production issues way more than the average Uzumaki reaction video? Interesting. Peytalksanime, when the animation goes from great to terrible in one episode, is what the title proclaims. For many who have watched Adult Swim's multi-year project, seeing Uzumaki put a lot of people for a loop, and questions were going to be asked about what went wrong. Now, as someone who attempts to make regular videos about AniTube and the popular topics at hand, it's customary to run across multiple videos about the trending thing of the day, sometimes with content consisting of similar themes and feelings about said topic. So I am a witness when I say so many people kept talking about budget in their videos without really going into the nitty-gritty. I can admit, I am a layman when it comes to anything anime production. And as multiple videos have pointed out about budgets in the past, it's just more complicated than that. And Pei does a wonderful job proving this point. Finding out what could have went wrong based on social sources and a conceptualized breakdown of TV anime as a whole was enlightening to watch. Conflicts unfortunately happen all the time, so it's no wonder we got the second episode as we did. But what I found really nice about Pei's video is getting into the meat on why we as an audience give a damn. I mean, sometimes the question gets lost in the conversation, you know? Sure, the second episode wasn't like the first. But I've always wondered how jarring is too jarring for a mass amount of people to take notice and find the product negative. Pei's foray into Uzumaki, and later on Gurren Lagann, gave great context into a feeling I don't think about when it comes to seeing things as uncanny. When a show starts out so good and reels one into the experience, it can be wonderful, but the deeper the immersion, the more jarring it becomes when the immersion is broken. You see, that's why I like this video. It makes me think beyond budget be bad, therefore show bad. Or, aha, look at the funny people running on the beach. Which honestly, the running was funny, come on, let's not kid ourselves. Basically, this perspective is well thought out, well articulated. Something so Peytalksanime. This is indeed their wheelhouse, and I loved it. P.S. I want to clarify, Pei, that the Frieren jab was only that, a jab. I commend you for the series you make on that anime, and I can tell you put a lot of thought into the wording. So I hope my little chuckle didn't make that confusing or mean. I don't want to come off as mean, so I'm sorry. Okay? Okay. Now I'm going to take a long pause for water before I talk about the next video. My voice is starting to really run dry. After watching this digest for a while, you start to notice a pattern of videos centered around community sentiment, self-worth, appreciation for your own style, accepting weirdness, and all that good jazz. But one aspect I feel the anime community needs to be constantly reminded of is the following. It is perfectly okay to like the popular show. That's why I applaud RariKP's How One Anime Recommendation Changed Everything for tackling this subject. To start off, they are right. It has become a bit of a competition for otaku to find that one anime that no one has ever heard of and promote that around like it makes you the truest anime nerd person. When in all actuality, finding those hidden gems really depends on perspective. Paranoia Agent, for example, is a weird show that newer anime fans today might see as a retro, quirky, old school pick that not many would watch, when in reality it was one of the more known anime of its time in an era of really weird anime. In contrast, we have new people who think getting into One Piece is now this daring challenge because of its length, when regardless of when it came out, is a good show. And back then, people called you a pleb for liking any of the big three due to everyone being able to watch it on Toonami. That's a point that I think Rari hits perfectly in their writing, that the best stories are ones you can easily share. Rari's video takes us back through his past thoughts on Demon Slayer and One Piece, how he felt he was bandwagoning with the hate, and then realized, hey, these stories be ballin'. I found Rari's explanation of One Piece in particular to be heartwarming and being happy in what they were getting into, or realizing the hypocrisy of not wanting to watch one show for being way too long only to watch Naruto for a similar amount of episodes. Honestly, no judge here. Sometimes that happens among fans and watching content. It's just cool that they saw the forest through the trees in the end. Overall, the tone of the video was just about in the middle for me. It was neither a heart-aching feelings trip, nor a cleaner retelling of their past, but simply down to earth with a guy who just likes what he likes. So I give this video an A+ for that. By the way, for all my AniTubers out there, have you ever felt this situation before? You make a passionate deep dive about an anime the kids of today would not be prone to knowing, or a seasonal anime long forgotten in the wave of shows. You work really hard on it, and it's one of your best works, and yet it does horribly in the mighty algorithm, because not many are interested in it. Then next week, you slapdash a video about a popular rage-baiting topic in around 3 days, and it does gangbusters for your channel. Yeah, I do think YouTube is partly to blame for why there is a sentiment regarding certain anime as normie picks. YouTube can sometimes guide conversations of what's popular to incentivize people to make content for those anime, which furthers the pipeline down to a point where the AniTuber gives an opinion and, depending on their influence, could perpetuate stigmas about a show. Could is the big phrase here, as I don't think it's all the AniTubers' fault either. People in general have to come to their own conclusions about an anime, and we as a community should respect those opinions. Yes, even the dog water ones. Welcome back to Digest, NMA Guru. I feel like I highlighted you not that long ago, but I really enjoyed your Anime is for Losers video. Once again, your personal touch to the topic of anime's perceived degeneracy was fun and genuine. I thought the shift in tone from uplifting to depressed to hopeful in the end probably was my favorite part. Sure, it's easy to tell yourself and others to be yourself, and that as long as you enjoy what you're doing, it will all work out. However, it's truly never that cut and dry. It's normal to feel ashamed, to like something people outside of it will think is weird, even if it's more accepted now. As I've lamented so much today, I am around that age group who remembers when anime was revered as the weird, sex-craved hobby that only got kids into devil worship and, corn. I even lost a couple of friends who I showed my anime hobby to, only for their parents to bar them from seeing me after the fact. It was truly sad, man. It's one thing if kids think and just bully you for it. It's another when their parents see you as a lost cause and need to put you on a watch list. Personally, for my generation, I don't think the feeling of shame is ever going to completely go away. And I'll even say that some people might even feel jealous or angry after nerdism became the cool thing all of a sudden. In the 2000s, you were ridiculed for even mentioning Carmel and dancing out in the streets. Then out of the blue, celebrities started promoting and cosplaying characters like it was no big deal. And yes, making something no big deal is the right path to making something normalized. It's just a tiny piece of me will always be kind of salty about it. Being a nerd soon became a popular personality trait that everyone had to have, as if no one was ever shunned at all for it. Obviously, not everyone had to deal with that, and I mostly still remember the salt upon my teen past. But the fact that this distinct aura is still with me to this day shows my point. I wonder if anyone who liked D&D in the past feels anything similar now that D&D has become the new popular thing to do. If so, let me know in the comments. But back to Guru. I just really love the sense of self here, man. As always, the live action segment is a nice touch and adds to that homey vibe. Sometimes good AniTube content doesn't always have to look like a Kabina effect video, if you know what I'm saying. Sometimes all you need are anime characters with your name slapdashed on it. Though I do recommend getting a custom avatar one day, Guru, because it can be a lot of fun. That's right, Guru. Join us. Join us out here in the animated nonsense and become the anime character you were always meant to be. Join us. Join us. Also, nice hair. It has nothing to do with the video quality, but I still give it a 4 out of 5 Cliff Bars. Hello again, all you goggles and ghouls. Before we begin our next entry, I wanted to address the big gaping hole in my upload schedule. TLDR, a lot happened to me in the past 2.5 months, so things got really shuffled around greatly, and I was originally going to post a big digest of all of the neat videos I need to catch up on, but there's like about over 30 at this point that I want to talk about, and it would take up a lot of time for the series to just dedicate one digest to all of them. I'm trying to put these out semi-regularly. So, I came up with a kind of simple solution. I'll just simply incorporate all the older videos into the current digest until we're pretty much catch up, making it more of a little bit of a retro segment each time. And each time that happens, I will put an indicator on the screen that the video was from a while ago, so there's no like weirdness. I think that is a fair compromise on the workload, so I hope these occasional romps down memory lane will be just the thing we need to kind of keep the pipeline going, because I really want to catch up, like seriously. But anyway, I think that's everything I wanted to say, so let's get back to our regularly scheduled program. I really hope the ghost out here don't bite me in the butt. It's pizza night. Red Joker's Why Is Yuri Bait a Thing? Seriously? Intrigued me because, I'll be honest, I didn't get it. I didn't get why shows just didn't play towards different Yuri ships and sell merch based on that. If the problem with confirming ships was a lack of merch potential, then why not make merch with multiple combinations and let people have at it? The same can be said for yaoi bait shows and why they don't do it either. But this video helped me get a more personal perspective on the matter. I like how Red Joker's section about the male fantasy, and how despite there being large desires for shipping all the way to Kansas, having the waifu still plausibly be available for the watcher to end up with made some psychological sense. But it's still kind of a paradox for me. For example, as an FF14 player, yes, I'm going there, I could see Thancred and Urianger as a ship and be totally cool with not intervening, even if I do have a crush on the whimsical fairy boy. But maybe that's actually because La Hagrita is my all-time biggest crush of all the Scions, and I would fight to tooth and nail for that cat boy, even against my own partner. but we're getting besides the point. This video has taught me that regardless of what the bait is, engagement is the name of the game. I can understand that if one becomes invested with the characters in the show, you would want to see what happens and create your own conclusions. Shipping is a part of the fun, and everyone can benefit from the imaginations. Speaking of, I'm amazed the point about imagination wasn't said as prominently in Joker's video, since he claimed this point more in his other video about girls band anime. Probably it's because he wanted to focus more on the business reasons behind bait and the mental trappings one could exploit for views and money. Damn it, it really is like YouTube in a way. But I think the ending takeaway comes from the hope that ship baiting will allow more LGBT stories with actual confirmation to happen someday. I get now why the genre exists, but it would be cruel if bait dominated a market where love would only be fetishized for profit and not realized for the sake of imagination. We luckily do have many titles though for people looking for romances that do go places. And this video also went places. So I enjoyed the brain exercise, Red Joker. Thank you as always, and I wish you well on your Bokita shipping journey. Everyone, strap in your boots and get ready to rumble, because a certain fruit is gonna talk shit about Boruto's dad. Oh yeah! The Mangotaku, it is easy to hate Naruto, here is why, was a video I came for the chowder reference but stayed for the tea, because I love a well-seasoned spicy take video. So raw, so opinionated, so filled with mango-y greatness. A greatness that Mango himself saw in Naruto from the beginning. I would like to believe that a lot of opinions we feel about anime becoming bad or wasted potential come from initial places of love and respect. And I can tell that this Naruto roast isn't just a hate train for hate train's sake. So I respect the man for actually telling people to check out the series for themselves and come to their own conclusions. It would be otherwise way too easy to just make a hate video for hate views and move on, but he didn't. Instead, Mango goes through all the reasons Naruto wasted its potential in a manner that ultimately concluded in a sentiment that the show we remember and the show in reality do not match up. Like when you date someone only for the idea of someone instead of who they are actually. Probably a dumb analogy, but work with me here, I'm cooking. Mango claims that Naruto was riddled with underdeveloped concepts, characters, and plot threads that either never had time to do their thing or were overcrowded with other aspects in the story. Unless you were Naruto or Sasuke, that is, according to Mango, which I see where he's coming from. I did like the part about Talk no Jutsu and the importance of promises towards Naruto as a character. I've never actually heard anyone describe their distaste for the infamous scene that way. It shows that Mango really thought about his disappointment and that these were his true thoughts of the show and no one else's. All in all, I don't know if this is just a problem with Kishi's writing for the series or a symptom of long-running anime as a whole, because the other story beats Mango listed are things I completely forgot or glossed over about, like Sakura being proficient in Genjutsu over the other two. I completely forgot that was supposed to be an important part of her character, but I guess the whole medical jutsu arc was supposed to kind of supplement that, but I don't know, man, that's just one of the many examples he pointed out to be lost in translation. In conclusion, I think a commenter said it best. I feel like I'm being gaslit when watching this video, but I'm having a lot of fun along the way. So yeah, I don't have much else to say beyond one more nagging thought. How the fuck did I guess Mango was a Shikamaru fan? When I watched the video, I was like, he's mentioning Shikamaru so candidly in the beginning. I wonder if that's his favorite. And there I was like, yeah, that makes sense. Just, food for thought. God, there's been so many seasonal romance videos this cycle. Many, mind you, are cool to watch, but I was getting romance fatigue a bit. If only there was a creator who took the topic of seasonal romance anime and made it into a fun little romp I could watch while folding clothes. Oh wait, there was someone. Karu's I binged 8 romance anime to guess which couple will break up was indeed the fun video, and a pretty novel idea for a video concept. It reminds me of those Smash Bros tier lists of whether or not characters have eaten pizza, or touched grass, or gone to space, or done my taxes. The answer is none. None of them have done my taxes, unfortunately. But it's okay, because Karu has done me a favor by essentially gamifying his own video. I would occasionally pause the video during my watch to guess what his verdict would be for each couple. I was right on half of them, I think, but that could be due to my overabundance of optimism I have for characters in romance anime, since they normally make their end feel eternal or blissful. That's the thing, I like that this video also got me to imagine the scenarios of these couples in real time after the credits roll. If villainous manga has taught me anything, is that anything can change after the plot is quote unquote finished. So overall, really fun break video. Oh, but one more note of plenty if you all have the time for me. Out of all of the pastimes in AniTube that have come and gone, I never would have thought the 3-episode rule would endure forevermore. Like, with the way streaming has gone, fracturing the watching experience for everyone, and well, our brains reliance on social media, I thought people would be too lazy with their watching habits to make it past 3 episodes in most cases. With so many series being pumped out nowadays, I wouldn't even blame anyone for feeling tired after one mundane episode of something. Personally, I take way longer to finish anime nowadays, depending on my enjoyment of them, so that doesn't help me either. Like a certain anime that shall not be named that I need to finish at some point to make a proper video of, but have a hard time getting into. I am sure as rain that if I say what the anime is, a bunch of old heads will come into the comments and say I will have trash taste and remove my weeaboo card. But that is a problem for future Misfit. Present Misfit only wants to say thank you, Karu, for a wonderfully funny video. Yeah, you're a good apple, aren't ya? Oh, you guys are back. Welcome, welcome. As you can see here, I was picking apples for the fall, doing autumn stuff. It can be a wonderful experience, just like all the forms of manga content. See the nice segue I did there? Yeah. You see, there are times when I, Misfit Paradox Waferton, come across a video that I do like, I just don't have time to talk about it in great detail. Therefore, you know what time it is. The Sizzle Reel. You know, the past videos of the week, I think we're all passionate in one way or another. While the topic could be different in nature, the emotion and senses of ego throughout were prominent enough to impress me. But today, I never found a video that appeals to my kindred spirit more than the one I have today. Mr. Valentine's Finding the Catgirl OG scientific analysis was immaculate. As one who unprofessionally professions in the mystical arts, it was a mastercraft of theory. I say, when in the company of nonsense, concepts happily take to the dinner table. For aren't we all seeking the truth of our deepest desires and burning questions? I just happen to endure the mind spiraling into madness for the sake of practical discovery. A jumbled jelly jam of seeking out a truth I thought was hard to uncover. Space. Of course! The philosophical final frontier, where possibilities are endless and constraint goes to die. Why didn't I think of it? Catgirls coming from space is the most profound discovery I have heard all year, and I'll be damned if I don't sing your high praises for such a dedicated piece of research, Mr. Valentine. Cat girls are to anime as ducks are to a pond. They are a natural existence that men have never questioned on their forecoming, nor how natural it is for one to see them in their ideal environment. To ask the question of origins no one was thinking about was bold, Mr. Valentine. And bold is what I treasure on this digest. Also because it was really funny that we were getting into proto-species, but that's the nerd in me talking. Your victory this digest was well-deserved, Mr. Valentine, and I couldn't be happier. Please continue to make more masterpieces for me to witness, to project, and to breathe in. But not literally, because it's on a computer screen, and do you know how much dust collects on your desk? It's downright nasty! And that should be a wrap. Boy, are my arms tired. I got plenty of apples to do my cooking and all that jazz. But I didn't sustain a major injury, so yay for me. Though I feel like I'm forgetting something. Something really important. Something that involves a month and a half of work of content that I need to address in a future video, perhaps? Nah, I'm probably still tired from earlier to remember things correctly. But I did want to announce something in all seriousness. I made a channel in my Discord server for fellow creators of AniTube content that might not be shined upon by our Lord and Savior, AniTubeList.com. I just wanted to make something in case people fell through the cracks and make sure it was just a nice backup plan in case anything happened. But it would also be nice to just have a place for people to like find content they like interesting and discuss it among themselves. Hopefully I'm doing my best here. Though please read the guidelines before you post, because there are just some types of content I might rarely speak of in general for my own personal reasons, as I'm only human. And I feel bad for getting people's expectations up. Either way, if there's anything you feel so inclined to ask questions about, please inform me. Okay, now that is all. If you like my content, give it a like. Comment down below what your favorite type of fall tradition is. But if you say it's pumpkin spice, I'm going to assume there's a lot of preppies down there in the comments. And I'm going to be judging you all very, very carefully. In the meantime, subscribe if you think pumpkin spice is the third most based holiday themed flavor. The best obviously being peppermint. Come on. And I will take no other answers beyond that. Flim flam, thank you, ma'am. See you next time, everybody.